What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this one, I'm going to be continuing to show you how to make the security breach Atrium in Minecraft. This is, I want to say part 10, but counting is hard. And in this one, we're going to be just solely focusing on the floor. We're going to get everything marked out so we can get the 2 different layers filled. And then I'll just leave you to it, which is why this part is a little bit shorter, because I don't show me filling in the entire floor. Because it, just look at it, honestly. Like, that, I think, should do all the justice that you need to know. Anyway, with that being said, have a fantastic... what, huh? With that being said, enjoy the tutorial, and I will catch you on the flip side. This is not the outro, this is the intro. Alright, so as I have mentioned in a previous part, I don't want to do the floor as a main part of a part, because it's grammar. I want to throw it at the end or closer to the end of a part, and so we're going to start by kind of setting up for the floor and getting a lot of the perimeter done. And this may still end up being a shorter part with that, but it is what it is, I guess. To start off, you just need the following. You need smooth quartz blocks, red concrete, crimson planks, crimson slabs, crimson stairs, magenta wool, and some placeholder block that you know is a placeholder block. I'm gonna go with anything vibrant that I could pick. I'm thinking of glazed terracotta. I'm gonna go pink glazed terracotta. Yeah, that's vibrant enough. So we're gonna start on the left side here with this particular blue terracotta side. You also actually might want to get out gray concrete. I just remembered that is important. But on this left side here, this curve, the left side if you're looking at the stage, by the way, you want to take the flat portion of the wall and you're going to take the third blue terracotta back and extend right with 3 smooth quartz blocks. And then 3 crimson stairs facing towards you. Behind each of the crimson stairs, you'll place smooth quartz blocks and then extend right from that row of 3 smooth quartz with another crimson stair. You'll then go back with a smooth quartz, right 2, back diagonally right, right 2, back diagonally right, if I can place it, right 2, then back diagonally right by 2, back 1, back diagonally right, back diagonally right, back diagonally right, back diagonally right, back. So you should have 3, 4, 5. You're gonna need more rows of 2 than that, actually. You're gonna need 2 more. So back diagonally right, back diagonally right, back. So you should have 7 of these rows of 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So then go back diagonally right, back 2, back diagonally right, back diagonally right, back 2, and then back diagonally left will connect to the bottom row of magenta there. And then you should have this kind of odd shape. I'm gonna fill in the top of it with magenta wool in line with that smooth quartz blocks. Except for the far left row actually is gonna be gray concrete. I would say you'll see later why that's important, but really it isn't. The only reason it's important is because for some reason it's like that. But it's a little weird, so yeah. Hopefully everyone is having a good day or night. I am for the most part. You know, getting these done. Had my Little Nightmares U2's figure come today, so that's exciting. One of them at least, the 6th one. Still have to wait for mono, and then the 2 plushies, which have not even... I don't think they've shipped yet. I don't think they have. Mono has, but the plushies have not. The mono figure, I should specify, is the one that shipped. Anyway. You should end up with this. Cool. If you take the 1 diagonal of smooth quartz, specifically this guy right here, you want to, this block and everyone behind it and to the right, you're bringing down with an additional smooth quartz. No more to the left, just to these. I guess you could go more to the left, but it really doesn't do anything for you. So, yeah. There you go. from that one diagonal of smooth quartz, you want to go forward diagonally right with a red concrete. The bottom one specifically, and then you'll extend right by one. Out of these two red concretes, you want to take the leftmost one and extend forward with 16 crimson planks. A red concrete, and then 16 more crimson planks. A red concrete, which will then be brought right by 2 and left by 2. The middle red concrete you'll bring right by 1. Here on each crimson plank you'll bring right with crimson slabs. Still trying to figure out how I want to do this. I don't know how useful the glazed terracotta will be, but I guess we'll find out fairly shortly here. Both ends of the red concrete you can extend forward by 16. And then connect together at the front there. Then from that center red concrete, you will extend forward with 11 crimson planks. And then a red concrete, which will again be brought left and right by 2. This one is a little bit more going on, but we're not actually worried about that yet. I think we're just going to do the same thing where we bring it forward by 16 for now on both sides. And then connect there. And then, again, this center red concrete, you will extend forward with 11 crimson planks. A red concrete, which will extend left and right by 2. And then you know the drill. These sides will be brought forward by 16. And you'll connect together at the end. That's as far as we'll go for with that stuff. At least for a second. Each crimson plank that hasn't already been brought right with crimson slabs, you will bring right with the aforementioned crimson slabs. And then if you take the end of red concrete here, you want to take the... Oh, I found a missing block. That's exciting. You want to take that, not the center red concrete, but one to the left. And you're going to extend it forward with 14 of your placeholder block. As we fill in the floor, it is going to be important that this stays here. You'll see more so why that is important later, and I guess just some small things with that. But what you want to do from that point is that part, at least, I know that we just did, does have to get copied, but we do have to figure out the starting position before we can actually do that. So if you head to the right side, and we're going to start with the same kind of positioning off of this flat wall of blue terracotta. This shape is different, though. You'll end up taking the front blue terracotta on this flat portion this time instead. And you want to extend left with 9 smooth quartz. Place a crimson stair in front of that end one. And then extend it left by 5. Place smooth quartz blocks behind each crimson stair, and then you'll extend to the left an additional 4. From this end smooth quartz, you'll go back by 2. Back diagonally right by 1. Back 3. Back diagonally left 1. Back 3. Back diagonally left 1. Back 3 again. Back diagonally left. Back 2. Back diagonally left. Back 2. Back diagonally left. Back 1. Back diagonally left by 3. Back 1. Back diagonally left 1. And then it should be 3 smooth quartz to connect into the magenta again. And I'm just going to make sure that I am on the 6th one over on both, which I am. Not hugely important to confirm, but I mean, it is still nice. You'll fill in this shape again with magenta wool in line with that top row of smooth quartz. Yeah. And then we'll end up bringing the other side forward with the same pattern. I'll probably reiterate some of the numbers, but not all of it, because you can just look over and copy. And then we'll end up connecting at the back, and then I can explain the floor pattern, and we can get the filling. And I'll explain how you can fill it with, like, structure blocks and things. Slash fill is technically an option. It's a bad option, but it is an option, so. Yeah. Anyway. I don't know what done to say here. Just fill in the floor. But once we actually have the floor of the, like the full floor of the atrium in, it'll look a lot more finished. And we can also start doing some of the details on the floor, and then, yeah, we'll, like, be there. I don't know. Should have this. Similar thing as we did before we brought the smooth quartz down. This time, if you take the flat front row of smooth quartz, the left two most ones will be brought down with smooth quartz, and then just everything going back from the left side there. By one each. This is just so where the floor goes down, we can kind of visualize that better. Doesn't matter if you fill one row with the floor, but that'll be more important later. If you take the row of two smooth quartz here at the front, this bottom row, you'll actually leave a gap of one from it and place a row of two red concrete, like so. If you take the right red concrete block, you'll extend forward with 12 crimson planks. Maybe, is it not aligned? It doesn't look aligned, actually. Okay, yeah, no, it's not quite aligned. You'll then place a red concrete. And then what I'm going to assume is 12 more crimson planks, yes. Red concrete, which is brought both left and right by 2. And then from this point, I believe it's the same. If you take this coordinate, negative 755, I'll trace across. And I'll see that this one's also negative 755. So from this point, it is the same. That front was just a little different. So either side is brought forward by, I want to say it was 16, yes. And then connected together. The middle red concrete is then brought forward with 11 crimson planks. Was it 11? I did not count it. Okay, there we go. Red concrete in front, which is brought left and right by 2. Either end forward by 16. And then you'll connect together. And then one more time, so 11 planks from the center. Red concrete, which is brought left and right by 2. Sides forward by 16. Connected together at the end there. And then not the center red concrete, but one to the right. This time you will extend forward with 14 of your placeholder block. And you can just make sure that these are the same end. Negative 841, and it looks like I might be off a little. Nope, never mind. I think I'm on. Yep, I'm on it. I just looked off for some reason with the way I flew at it. Each, or left of each crimson plank, you want a crimson slab. And then that one red concrete between the first 2 rows of crimson planks, you will bring left by 1, so it's in line with the slabs here. This guy. Nice. So, on the right side here, we can just make sure that this is all correct. If you actually take this end block, again, I'm going to just like move along this row, and I'm going to see that the X coordinate is changing, which is the first one. So negative 841 is this end block. If I trace this over and make sure I am on negative 841, I end up just shy of the end of the doorway here. I'm 1 block before the, I guess, final block of the door itself, not including the doorway. Which means that the actual floor, It'll make more sense in a minute, but the actual floor will be in line with that final row of the doorway. So yeah, again, a little bit weird right now to explain, but hopefully later you will understand more so what I mean. Anyway. Each end glazed terracotta or your placer block will be brought towards each other by 23. Look how shiny it is. Like reflective. If you actually look backwards, you'll see you should be in the center of the escalators on that final block there on both sides, which is kind of funny. I didn't realize that lined up that way, but it does. So. The next step is going to be connecting those end terracottas together with crimson planks, and then extending them towards the stage side with crimson slabs. That's your outside marked. Now, I really wouldn't say that the inside is very marked, because we have some large sections of magenta wool that we do need to work around here. You have two options. I'm going to give you the numbers, so if you would like, you can fill them a row above, and then just later, like, mark them a row above, and then just break it down after you do the floor. I feel like that's a whole extra step, though, so I just kind of like to get it out of the way immediately, but it's up to you regardless of what you do. If you take the back corners, like these, I guess it'd be the front corners actually, if the stage is the back. But this red concrete on either side, you want to down diagonally out just place a placeholder. These ones will get removed, but they're important to have for now at least. You'll extend it in by 3, and then you'll connect them together from there with magenta wool. You should have these rows of 4 on both sides. And I can literally just do it this way. And yep, I got the 4 actually. I thought I was off, but I was not. From that point, you're bringing the magenta towards the, like, restaurant side with 9 rows. Which, if you check back, if you actually look at the staircase here, the crimson, you appear to be 3 away? Yes, 3 away. Let me just confirm. Yep. That is all good. We don't have to fill this in entirely yet. I'm just going to actually frame it. I know I did technically the way I said that it would imply to fill it, but I'm just going to wait a second on that. You can bring the magenta wool on these sides towards the stage. And once you're beyond the first red concrete rectangle, which is going to be this block, you have this one, you want to go forward an additional 8 from that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if I actually trace this, negative 803, am I in the middle of, I'm in the middle of the escalator again. Why are we always in the middle of these escalators? But regardless, you are. So, yeah, and I'll just connect it across to the other side. And we have one more step with these, which doesn't necessarily matter to do, but yeah. That isn't filling them in, I guess. We'll probably do it after we do them both, though. Nice. I am going to destroy these placeholders on the sides because we don't actually need them anymore. They were just to make sure that we could get the distance. And those ones get destroyed, but these ones don't because they are important for an entirely other reason, which you'll see later. Meanwhile, on the other side, if you take the frontmost or the potted plant closest to the stage and the corner also closest to the stage, you'll do the same thing. You'll have the 4 placeholder blocks moving in from this kind of corner or block down, and then you'll place the magenta wool between those blocks. Sorry, I'm struggling here. Words are hard. Like so. You will extend towards the stage with 8 magenta. And again, I'll box here just for fun. Am I in the middle of an escalator? I'm just kidding, there's no escalator here to be in the middle of. And then if you extend towards the other magenta rectangle, you'll stop again at the end of this. It should be the first potted plant, right? Yeah, and then you'll go an additional 9 forward. And we're not in the middle of the escalator this time. We are just towards the stage A block from it. And I do want to just make sure that I'm good on that, which I am. Nice. But yeah, I'll then connect this together, remove those placeholders, and then we can do the next step. So I guess I'll explain it now. There's a lot of checkerboard patterns going on. Yeah, I mean, that's the deal, I guess, is a lot. And some of them we'll be able to just deal with later, and some of them we'll probably do now. But again, you can fill in both these rectangles now with magenta wool on the inside. Make sure you are still a block lower than your red and stuff. I know that's just like, I had mentioned that already, but it is good to mention again, because unless you're trying to just mark it and not worry about it, then it's not a huge deal. I'm going to slash fill those two. Save a bit of time. Got another video to record after this, you know, I gotta chop, especially if I have to take 30 minutes to do the stupid pattern. So, this one is up to you. I'm gonna get rid of the gray concrete and get out black concrete and white concrete. And along the long sides of both these magenta squares, you're gonna do just a singular row of a checkerboard pattern, black and white concrete alternating. Don't worry about how these line up, just try to make them maybe the same between the two rectangles. Between the sides of the rectangles is up to you. You could technically count it and see if it would end up lining up properly or not, but I personally feel like that's a whole lot of nothing, a whole lot of just time waste. But yeah, there's a couple more of these lines around the upper layer, but we're not going to worry about them because they're just not important. There's also, I think, another one on this lower layer that is a double thick. It's like I think they're either 2x2 or 3x3 squares. I feel like they're 2x2, but something's telling me that they're 3x3 in my head, and I don't know what to believe. So no, there's no way they're 3x3. I know the tiles are 2 wide in total. Well, I mean, there are 2 tiles wide. So I'm like, is it 4 blocks or 6 blocks? It might be 6. It very well might be. I don't know. It's not important yet anyway. I know to some capacity this is kind of a bit counterproductive to fill it all and then break it. But especially if you're doing the floor pattern with some sort of command or something that's helping you, whether that be structure blocking or slash filling or whatever, you know. I definitely recommend structure blocking, but I'll give you the pattern because it actually isn't that hard once you get the hang of it. It's a little weird, but it is really just a glorified checkerboard pattern. But like a glorified tiled pattern, actually, not really checkerboard. Okay, yep, didn't want that anyway, it's fine. Although we have one more thing that I do want to set up before we actually start. You can clear your inventory, and I'm just going to block back the magenta concrete on the wall here, and I want to bring the magenta on either side down a row where the smooth quartz does not cover it. So like this inner portion, and I will actually connect together here. You don't need to do this. In fact, you probably shouldn't actually, but just for the point of the tutorial, I'm going to block it off because that'll help us kind of see where that is later. The floor requires 2 materials: cobble deep slate, smooth quartz blocks. So as you're doing each layer, you want to make sure the pink glazed terracotta or the placeholder block that I placed on these corners stays. And you do not want to fill in this middle section with the pattern. So I'm going to start in the corner. And I'm going to go a block below the head of the walls, and I'll place a cobble deep slate. Now, it might be easier to start in the middle, actually, rather than a corner. You know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to place a structure block, and I'm going to see which way the lines go. And you see they go that way, which means I'm actually in the corner. That would be good, so that is nice. Kind of ignore all of it. And we're going to call this the corner. So you're going to extend the cobble deep slate both out in either direction by 2, I guess. So you have kind of an L shape. Place a cobble deep slate on this new inner corner, and then I'm going to place a row of smooth quartz off of that. It should be just 4 diagonals, like so. I'll then place cobble deep slate off of those smooth quartz diagonals inside of them. And I'll just square it off so you have this. from this smooth quartz, if I'm looking from below, I'm going to actually take it and go up diagonally left by 3. And then either of these end ones I'll bring up diagonally in by pretty much 3, and they'll end up connecting together to give you this. I'll fill in the center with cobble deep set along with squaring off all the corners. Basically, you just made a diamond. Like so. Now, here's the fun part. As you fill this diamond, each line of it, as you repeat this pattern, are pretty much just going to keep tracing through. So if I take this line of smooth quartz here, you can kind of see the diagonal trajectory that it's going. That way it doesn't matter because that's into the abyss. But this way, it's going to keep going like this for all of time. Until, obviously, you run into something. And then the other way, you'll take this one and do the same thing. You'll go this way until, for me, it'll actually just run into the vent hole. Same thing going this way. And same thing going this way. Once you have 2 of these lines going the same way, you can really start to visualize the pattern more. So like you see here, I've got 2 lines, so I can take this beginning and I can say, okay, so I need the diamond again. So if you see, essentially this is one side, and then you'd have 2 sides. So you have, I guess this is a good point to use, because this is actually a intersecting point between more than one square. So if I end up tracing it across to the right to this one, I'll see this is where that is, and I'll connect it diagonally. And it'll create another square. Or diamond, I guess. And then you can literally just keep doing this. Or alternatively, you can take a smooth quartz like this one, and you can place 3 cobble deep set behind it, and, you know, maybe, boom, it'll connect there. I'll then take this bottom point, place 5, and it'll connect. Next one, I'll place 3 smooth quartz. It's kind of hard to explain, really. But you can hopefully see the pattern that I'm making here, to where it's the far ends are 1, then you have rows of 3 cobble deep set, and then 5 is the center, before you have to worry about the next line going down. And yeah, you're just going to continually do this. If you want to structure block a small portion, I would take the direct center of a diamond, place your structure block in it, and it should be a 6x6. Is it a 6x6? Yes, right? 6x6? That's 67, so close though. Would have to have the corners filled out, I think. Yeah, 6x6 does get you a repeating pattern. And pretty much if you wanted it larger, you could just do any, you know, thing of 6. And if I place it directly behind, is this going to work, or do I have to do it on a diagonal angle? I think you do it on a diagonal. I'm going to place it anyway and see what happens. Yeah, you do have to follow the diagonal if you do it like that. What was the way that I did it? I don't remember how I did it, actually. Wait, did I? Hold on. That looked weird. Or that looked fine. Oh, no, you're fine. Never mind. I apologize. You do have to just, or you can just do it straight back in a line. And really what I would end up doing is filling like a bunch of these in a square, and then just making a bigger structure block file and just continuing to do that. Yeah. Really, once you hit edges, you're just stopping, you know? You can go under, well, I guess actually here you would be in line with the red, so try not to destroy it, but... And then, yeah, for the center section in the middle of all of this, you're just doing it down a block. You don't have to worry about it connecting or not. If you want to, you can, but it won't connect on every side, so I wouldn't get your hopes up. As you can also see, as you can see, I have a misplaced block. But as you can see, I'm done the floor. But I do just want to point out this pattern, because this pattern is actually really useful to help you figure out with this floor. So there are actually, legitimately, it's 2 combos of lines. It's 1 smooth quartz, 5 cobble deep set, and then just that repeated for the center. And then for the other one, it's smooth quartz, cobble deep set, smooth quartz, 3 cobble deep set, and then repeated. And if I actually put those next to each other, you'll see they're shifted 1 block off from each other. So you kind of just have to figure out, like, okay, you see here, since you have a smooth quartz either side of this one, you can actually start from this one, and you can say, okay, yeah, well, I mean, you have the smooth quartz there, but maybe that row doesn't exist, so it could be that way. It doesn't necessarily matter that it goes this way. But you would end up saying, okay, so that gets brought out by one, and then you have a cobble deep slate either side, smooth quartz either side of that, and then on both sides, it would be one cobble deep slate and then one smooth quartz. And then you could take those, and you see that you have the point of this one. Essentially, they're always going to be in line, kind of, so I think this way would be 3 instead, since you actually don't have, yeah, you can see here, since if you take that, this 1 here, you'd play smooth quartz, and then 3 cobble deep slate, then beyond that, it'd be the 5 cobble deep slate with the smooth quartz with the cobble deep slate in the center. This one is here. Hopefully that makes it a little bit easier or more confusing. It depends on which way you look at it, but essentially, once you start to get into the rhythm, you'll notice this pattern of 5-1 and then 3-1, whatever. And hopefully eventually that'll become very obvious to you as being helpful. But yeah. For those of you who watch the Security Breach Let's Build streams, this took me, like, legitimately, it was probably 4 or 5 different streams I worked on the floor in. It was bad. So yeah, don't expect to finish this very easily, and I'm gonna try to figure out an easy way to actually do it, because I'm like, what am I supposed to do here? You know, like, I'm not about to spend the next 30 minutes of my life filling in this floor. But yeah, I'll stay in for a minute and kind of just go over it. So yeah, and again, as you fill in more, you'll, especially if you do it by hand, you'll definitely start to feel that pattern of the diagonal lines. By the end of it, I could do it pretty easily, but I still had to think a little bit. So yeah, this is, I would argue this is the worst floor pattern that I've ever had to make. I don't think that's unreasonable to say. Where would the next one be? Here, right? I think so. I should maybe also fill this way a little bit. My goodness. Oh yeah, I'm feeling it now. So just go off with it. I would recommend, if you have anybody who could help you, to have them help you. I'm debating taking a structure block file from the original, but I don't think I can structure block enough anyway. So I'm like, what's the point to copy it if I just don't copy it more? You know, because it's like, I'm gonna end up taking other things, or, well, actually, no. But so, again, when you reach the glazed terracotta, you're gonna fill around it like this, and you also want to fill directly under it. Don't forget that. I forgot to mention that, but yeah, you do want to make sure that, like, if you're doing structure block files for this part, that you start it directly here, and then you can, you know, carry on with it. Whoa. You know, that's very odd, actually. That's very odd. Kind of reminds me of the aperture logo. And maybe now's a good time to up that file size. What can I go? I can't go 24, can I? That's the wrong side to check with. Yeah, I have to go... Would 18 work? No, I need to do 12. That sucks. Not particularly much. I guess I could keep that 24, actually. And yeah, I'll at least go a little bit longer so the video is not 20 minutes long, even though I realize that we're already further than 20 minutes in, but oh yeah, wait, I should maybe consider doing the thing first, which is that, oh yeah, you can copy the data of a structure block, and then if you place a redstone block next to it, it'll automatically place the file, which is very nice in this kind of situation. But you do also have to just be careful, because, you know, if you're not opening the file, you're not seeing that you're going to destroy something. So you do kind of run that risk of just annihilating something important. But, you know, as long as you're careful, it shouldn't hopefully do that. I really should have started another row back. It's fine. I mean, I have to fill further anyway, I guess, so I can just actually take, like... Can I take this center? Is this, like, a thing? Yeah, actually, that is a thing. Okay, cool. And yeah, a whole lot of this. I do apologize. I really wish there was an easier way myself as well. Trust me. Like, this is not... For me having to build it twice, too? Like, it's not... No thanks. You know, that's it. Just no thanks. I'd rather not. But... yeah. There are also, like, funny things you can do where you can give the structure block file an offset. So it'll actually remove the structure block for you instead of you having to break it every time. I've been screwing with a lot of things like that in the backrooms map just so I can... wow, I broke the redstone block before the structure block broke it. That's impressive. But I have been playing with doing things like that with the backrooms map just because of how much of just repeating patterns that has been. I don't know if any of you have, or who here has paid attention to that map, but there are parts in that that are just, hey, so you want to take this thing, right? And then you want to copy it 3,000 more times. And that's the map. That's it. But yeah, and I'll fill a small portion of the bottom just so you can kind of see what I mean here. So if I take... I almost want to fill from the same spot, huh? That might be smart. Oh, never mind. It wasn't smart. It aided my magenta, but that's fine. I'll just break that part out. Yeah, if you ever do that, honestly, just like break it where you need the patterns and stuff, and then just deal with it later. Because you could, technically speaking, just build through it and then fix it later, but yeah. When you hit the show stage area at the back, don't worry about it. Just don't, like, keep going into oblivion where this gap is. And there will be some parts we'll have to break for the stage, but I'm not really entirely concerned about that. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna finish this. Be ready for the next part, because we're gonna actually be doing stuff with where the floor is important. Although I might do show stage first and get that wall done. I'm not really sure. We're somewhere in that in-between range where I'm like, maybe I'll do this or maybe I'll do that. Who knows? But anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I do apologize for having to hit you with just, you know, one of these tasks, because this one is pretty bad. Make sure to have that finished, and yeah, that being said, have a fantastic rest of your day or night, and I will see you on the next one. Aww, my emote. Bye.